So, this is the way the song goes. Nye Zhuritze Chloptzi, shtoiz na mi budyet, mi payediem dakar chamski tam mi vodka budyet. Once again, it's in Russian, it's not my first language or my second or third at all. But this is the way the song goes, we'll talk about it. Nye Zhuritze Chloptzi, shtoiz na mi budyet, mi payediem dakar chamski tam mi vodka budyet. Ay 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 dirim. Ay 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 yam. Ay 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 dirim. Ay 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 yam. Ay 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 dirim. Ay 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 yam. Ay 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 dirim. Ay 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 yam. Ay 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 yam. Ay 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 yam. Ay 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 yam. Ay 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 ay. Nye Zhuritze Chloptzi, shtoiz na mi budyet, mi payediem dakar chamski tam mi vodka budyet. So that's the song. And what's it about? In the history, in the Chassidic history, Nigun, song, melody, wordless melody most often, plays a very central role in our service, in our servitude, in our connection, in our awakening our passion to connect with God. We sing, we dance, but here we're talking about a nigun. A nigun is a mode of communication, and it's expression. It's an expression of a feeling of something very, very deep. And oftentimes Chassidim would daven with a nigun their prayers, aside from just the nusach hatafila, which is the regular tune with which prayers are said. Chassidim of old and of today are known to sit on Shabbos when there's extra time and sing a nigun and meditate and contemplate on the words and on our connection with God, etc. And a nigun helps. Now, most of the nigunim that you're going to hear in a Chabad community will be one that was composed by either a Rebbe or a Chassid. Very few, but there are, were composed by outsiders, not just outside of the Chassidic fold, but outside of the Jewish faith. And what happens is the Rebbe would explain that a nigun contains a very powerful energy. And sometimes there's an energy or a message that we can use in our service. So we elevate it. We elevate the song and that energy by transforming it and using it for Jewish causes, for a Chassidic purpose, through davening, etc. Some of the more famous examples are Napoleon's March, which became a Chabad Chassidic Nigun, which in 770 Eastern Parkway by the Rebbe, they would actually sing it at the end of every Yom Kippur. So, trying to remember the tune. I didn't know. That's not the tune. Napoleon's March. Well, it'll come. And then there's another one I'm getting cross wire over here with the French national anthem. And that's, so the Rebbe also elevated that nigun and sang it and we use it for Haderes v'hamun alachayolamim, etc., etc. There's also Shamil's nigun, which is a famous leader of the counter-revolutionary group in the Carpathian Mountains. His name was Shamil, and a Chassid heard the song and brought it back with its message. So what's Napoleon's March? There's a Simchas Torah nigun. That's not it. I'm drawing a blank here, which is very unusual for nigunim because I know them well. Okay, we'll skip it for now. So now, moving on. So this song that we're talking about, Nye Zhuritze Chloptzi, was a song that was borrowed or captured by the Mittler Rebbe's Chassidim, the second Chabad Rebbe. So we're talking a few hundred years ago. And it was a song that the words mean something like this. Nye Zhuritze Chloptzi. Don't worry, my friends. Don't worry, friends. What will be with us? Don't worry what will become of us. Mi payediem da karchamki, when we will get to the inn, to the hotel, to the destination. Talka vodka budyet, or tami vodka budyet. There will be vodka waiting for us. So, there will be vodka waiting for us. It sounds like a drunkard's song or a peasant's song, but in the context of people were traveling on long roads in Russia, and it was very, very cold, and the roads were dangerous, and they were looking forward to some warmth and comfort when they got to their destination. The Rebbe tells us that the Chassidim of the Mittler Rebbe, the second Chabad Rebbe, the word mittel means middle, but he was the second Chabad Rebbe, the Chassidim would sing the song on their way to visit the Rebbe. The Chassidim of the Mittler Rebbe lived all over across Russia and Poland, and they yearned for the moment and the time that they would spend with their Rebbe, and they longed to be there, to be inspired to drink from his fountain of Torah and Chassidus and love. And the Chassidim of the Mittler Rebbe would sing this song on their way, Nye Zhuritze Chloptzi, and they translated it into meaning. Don't worry, friends, about us, where we are right now. We're dry, we're lacking inspiration, but we're on the way to a good place. We're going to the Rebbe, and over there's a lot of warmth. There's a lot of vodka representing the teachings of Chassidus. And don't worry, we'll get there, and we're going to warm up and drink from his fountain. That is the known nigun that the Rebbe's, the Mittler Rebbe's Chassidim would sing. Our Rebbe taught this nigun and spoke about it, and then he explained it in a different way, in an additional way. He added something relevant to us. Also, of course, we have that same idea. You want to connect with the Rebbe, or go to the Ohel. On your way, you're feeling the song, you're singing the song. But a little bit extended, the Rebbe took it and said that when Chassidim farbringed with this nigun, they added something. They said it's not enough that we're going to have a drink when we get to the inn, when we get to our destination. We need something for the road. We need a shot for the way. We need a shot on the road. We need something to keep us going until we get there, said the Rebbe. That's what Chassidim would say. So now, our Rebbe, of course, taught us that you take everything you hear and apply it in your own life and make it relevant. And so the Rebbe says over here that in our general journey, the Rebbe expanded this song and this idea and the meaning of the song to each and every one of us. He says that God created the world with a mission. God created us each with a mission. And in the long and short of it, at the end of the story, we will all fulfill that mission, whether it's in this Gilgul, in this reincarnation, or the next. But we're going to fulfill it. It says, Lo yidach mimenu nidach. So the Rebbe quoted the pasuk, a verse in Tehillim, I think it's Tehillim, that says that no Jew will be left behind. No one will be left behind. There's a song like that from Avraham Fried in the late 70s or early 80s. No Jew will be left behind. No tears will be left to be cried. No power or pain will send us back again. We are one and forever this time, etc. Beautiful song. So the Rebbe says, Lo yidach mimenu nidach. No Jew will be left behind, which means God is promising that every Jew will reconnect and fulfill his or her mission. Moving on, the Rebbe said, we are Neitzer Matai, Maseh Yadai Lehispire. God says, God calls us the branch of my planting, Maseh Yadai, my handiwork, my precious handiwork, Lehispire, for which I'm proud. Says the Rebbe that God's handiwork is eternal. God is eternal, so too his handiwork is eternal. Meaning that we will always be there, and we'll be there until the end of time. And quoting another pasuk, or another quote in the Mishnah, it says, Kol Yisrael yesh lahem chelek la'olam haba. Every Jew has a share in the world to come. And which means to say that we all will go to heaven, but also even more importantly, says the Rebbe, we will all return when Mashiach comes. So this eternity that we have, this piece of eternity that God gives us, is not just our soul that's eternal, but it's even our flesh and blood, our body, that will return and stay to eternity. So here we have the Rebbe telling us that God is telling us we're going to be back, doing the right thing, connecting with God, observing his mitzvos, studying his Torah. And here the Rebbe challenges us. And he says, a person might hear this song. And he says, oh, what does the song say? The song says, when I get to the inn, when I get to the hotel, that's when I'm going to have my drink. A person might say, you know what, I'm not feeling it right now, and it's not really happening, I'm not really that observant, I'm not really that connected, but when I get to heaven, when Mashiach comes, when the Holy Temple, the Beis HaMikdash, will be rebuilt, that's when I'm going to really fulfill my mission. That's when I'll have my drink. Says the Rebbe, but we learned from the Chassidim that for bringing about this song, that we need a drink for the way. And not only that, but we can have a drink on the way. And in our paradigm of this song, we're actually able to finish our mission and connect with God and have that bottle right here and right now. The Rebbe said, why wait? Why wait a year and wander about aimlessly, searching for meaning in life, when you have it right in front of you, when you have it inside your heart and in the Torah and in the Chassidic teachings? Why wait a month? Why wait a week? The Rebbe said, why wait even a day? Why wait one extra day? Just dive in, connect with your own roots, like last week's Torah portion of Lecha. Go to you, go to your true self. Said the Rebbe, this is what this Chassidic song teaches us. And he said in Yiddish, he said, Ashad de Zeit. It's a pity for the wasted time that we incur when we're not getting there faster. We need a drink for the way. And the Rebbe said that this is like all Hasidic teachings. This is not a pshetel. There's no something nice that you hear and then you move on. It's meant to inspire action and transformation within our lives. The Rebbe continued this talk and said, this talk was in the 60s, in the early 60s, and the Rebbe said, but what happens if a person says, you know what, I'm all alone. I live in a city, in a state, in a country where no one is observing, no one's doing it, no one's like me. Said the Rebbe, you're feeling alone. Guess what? Someone beat you to it. There was Avraham Avinu, this week's Torah portion. Abraham, the first Jew, he was alone. He was all alone against the whole world. Everyone was serving idols and they were all against him. It was Avraham alone against the rest of the world. Said the Rebbe, Avraham was Echad Haya Avraham. Avraham was one. But when Avraham traveled with Yechido Shel Olam, the one and only God, then he transformed the world instead of the world transforming him. And not only that, but he ended up with honors and riches. And the Midrash says that the inhabitants of the world, the general public, crowned Avraham as their king after he was teaching monotheism and he stood strong And after he withstood the tests, and after he was thrown into the furnace, and he stood by his beliefs, proving Mesiras Nefesh, says the Rebbe, you're not alone. You are all alone. But you're only one, sorry. You're only one, but you're with the one and only. If you are only one person with the one and only God, you're in good hands. You're okay. So yesterday, my children, Shayna, second daughter, and Eliyahu, son-in-law, they were doing this supper and study for their teen program. We have C-Teen, which is Chabad Teen Network, and they started a junior teen network. And there was a family there. And there was a girl who joined the teen network. They live in East Harlem. And there was a boy here, a 7-year-old boy, who goes to our Hebrew school from Mora Sarah, our Kivun, called Kivun, for the children, the one that is for the children of Harlem Hebrew. And he was there holding a kippah. I was wearing a kippah, holding it, playing with it. And I went up there to do the music, and I was singing with the kids, as I do a few times a week. I'm a Jew and I'm proud, and I'll sing it out loud, 'cause forever that's what I'll be. Oh yes, I'm a Jew and I'm proud, and it's without a doubt that Hashem is always watching over me. And I saw this kid, he's a newbie, he's listening to the words very carefully. Afterwards, later on, during the supper and study, I met with the family, and the mother told me that this boy, his name is Avi, of Russian descent. He said Avi goes to a public school in East Harlem, and Avi is the only kid in his school who wears a kippah. The only child in his school who wears a kippah. I was very impressed and very moved. I said, Avi, what inspired you? How do you do it? How do you keep it? And he said, I am a Jew and I'm proud, and I'll sing it out loud, 'cause forever that's what I'll be. Oh yes, I'm a Jew and I'm proud, and it's without a doubt that Hashem is always watching over me. So he was inspired by that song. He had known it before I sang it at the Hebrew school. He's been listening to it for a while, and it inspired him to be one against a whole public school. The only child, 7-year-old child, the only one who wears a kippah. God bless him, and you could be the same in your environment. Be the Avraham. God bless you. Thanks for joining.